What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're for a brand new Madden 26 realistic rebuild. I'm going to be rebuilding the Detroit Lions. I just finished watching Detroit against Green Bay, and I kind of left that game thinking Detroit's in like that playoff purgatory. They're one of those teams that, like, do I believe they'll win a Super Bowl with this team? I don't think so. And I kind of like the Detroit Lions. As an Eagle fan, the only team that didn't vote against Tush Push, quarterback sneak, respect the Detroit Lions. Big Dan Campbell guy. But I feel like they're in that purgatory where they're not good enough to win a Super Bowl, but they're also like not bad enough to get a good pick to try to like help out the program, which makes them an incredibly interesting rebuild. They're an old roster. They're an expensive roster. They have young players that need to get paid. Like, it is going to be a very, very challenging rebuild. Now, this week 14 game for Detroit off the Thanksgiving loss is going to be pretty challenging. It's going to be a huge game. Huge tone setter now. Detroit is going against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is playing Kansas City right now. I don't know who's going to win this game. In Madden's eyes, they said Dallas lose. We'll see. We'll see, man. Philly just played Dallas and Jerry World last week. We had 100 yards and penalties, like 15 penalties that were accepted, bunch that were declined. And it's looking, it's early, but it's looking like there's going to be a lot of bullshit going against the Chiefs. Hey, it's good for the NFL, man. I'm not a big tinfoil hat guy, but all they said, man, Tony Romo's setting the plate here. Dallas, so we know Dallas getting favorable calls in Jerry World. It is what it is. It's Dallas, right? But if Dallas wins, they just beat the two Super Bowl teams. There's a storyline. There's eyes for the league. If Kansas City loses, they're probably going to have to win out. So that makes every Chiefs game must watch. It's just almost feels like too perfect of a situation, but we will see. In the eyes of Madden, Dallas loses, but that still doesn't really change the importance of this matchup here in Week 14. And it looks like Detroit is going to be without Amon-Ra St. Brown for the next two games. Said 1 to 2 week injury. We'll go with 2 weeks to make it more challenging, and those are huge games. Week 14, Dallas. Week 15, the LA Rams. So that's kind of where we're at. A lot of other injuries going on. Detroit just always has injuries when we start this rebuild. We're going to have no Sam Laporta for the rest of the year. We're going to have no Amon-Ra St. Brown for the next couple games. Defensively, I'm going to go under the assumption, it seems like Kirby Joseph could be ready to go. So I'm not going to take all the L's, and we're going to have Kirby Joseph inserted back into the lineup. But it's, when you take a look at this Detroit Lions team, it's a great balance, which is good and bad. It's a great balance if we're ready to go win right now. I don't think this team is ready to win right now. Now, they got a big boost with Frank Ragnow returning out of retirement to come and try to help out center. Obviously, the roster update has not been updated then. I didn't really want to just take a guess at what his rating is going to be. I assume it's going to be like Brandon Graham with my Philadelphia Eagles. He's just coming out of retirement for 1 year. Well, I think it'll help in real life because you could probably kick Glasgow out to left guard. I think for the context of big picture of this rebuild, it's not going to really make a whole difference. So we do not have Ragnow right now. But looking at the team, I think the fact of the matter is, what stands out to me with Detroit in Madden 26, not so much what I'm seeing in real life, is that they're not really good in Madden. I've done a lot of rebuilds. I've done a lot of AFC rebuilds. I don't think I've ever played Detroit in the Super Bowl. I've done a lot of NFC rebuilds. I don't think there's a lot of times I played Detroit in the playoffs. So I think we may have a bad scheme, which is kind of fitting because the only other realistic rebuild I did where the scheme was just horrific and nothing I did could help overcome the scheme was New York Jets. Who is the Jets head coach? Where does his influence come from? Aaron Glenn and the Detroit Lions. So I think this is going to be a rebuild where I'm going to fire the offensive coordinator every year and see if we can hire a recently fired real coach to maybe change up the scheme a little bit. I think in real life, that also could be an argument, man. The Ben Johnson play calling to the now Dan Campbell play calling, not perfect. But the quick you kind of look at this roster, obviously it's a very talented roster, especially once we get Amon-Ra St. Brown healthy. It looks pretty good. But within the context of if we don't win and we have to grind it out a little bit, where's this team going to be year 3, year 4, year 5 of this 5-year rebuild? We have some good players I think will, as long as we can make the budget and salary cap work, Sewell, Ratledge, Laporta, Tesla, Gibbs, J-Mo, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Maybe J-Mo's a kind of guy that might not get paid at the end of the day, or if the tight end doesn't put up a lot of production, it might not be worth it bringing back Laporta. But we have some really, really key pieces. But on the other side of that, Decker, David Montgomery, Jared Goff, year 4, year 5 of these rebuilds, These guys are either going to be retired or they're going to be on the downswing. They're on expensive contracts. Tough decisions may need to be made. When you take a look at the defensive side of the ball, feel a little bit more optimistic. I think, we have Aiden Hutchinson here who got his big contract extension, so we have to deal with that. The defensive front is really solid. The secondary, well, I'm going to say right now, I'm going against Jordan Love in fantasy football, and this was probably one of the worst, most pathetic defensive efforts I've ever seen. But they're, from a Madden standpoint, we have really good safeties. Looks like Kirby Joseph's on the line about returning from injury, so I'm going to give that boost to this team. Jack Campbell is an absolute stud. For what it's worth in the sim, Al-Qadim Muhammad has 6 sacks IRL, but because I had to sim the last 2 games, the Giants game, because that's where the start today starts, and the Packers game, he got 4 sacks in those games in the Madden sim. So he's up to 10 sacks on the year. We have 8.5 for Hutchinson. So, Muhammad's developing into a stud here. But I think when I look at the defense, it's not so much old, expensive players. It's, am I going to have, what if Terry Arnold starts developing? Do I have the money to pay him? Am I going to have the money to pay Brian Branch? Am I going to have the money to pay Jack Campbell? I think this is going to be a really challenging rebuild. Very, very challenging. But we got to finish out this year. We're 7-5. We still have a chance at playoffs. Let's see what they can do. I want to grab a front row seat to this one. This is going to be a big matchup. Detroit. It's one of those ones, if Detroit loses to Dallas, I don't want to deal with Cowboy fans on a 3-game win streak. I do not want to deal with that. So I'm hoping Detroit can handle business. And it's a home game, so you won't get, hopefully the home, home cooking calls that Dallas has been getting won't travel. But I don't know. I do feel like the league as a whole will absolutely enjoy and relish in the opportunity to fuck the Detroit Lions with terrible calls as they tend to do. A couple bad ones here today against Green Bay, man. Going up against Jordan Love and Fantasy, they had one the timeout that clearly wasn't a timeout, and they just went from settling for a field goal to getting a touchdown. Fuck, man! Are you kidding me? Well, there you go. I'd take this one. That's how you respond after a bad Thanksgiving Day loss. 31-10. No Amon-Ra St. Brown. No problem for the Detroit Lions. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick for Jared Goff. Man, that 1-2 punch in the sim, if it does actually work out, I don't think we could probably, Montgomery's probably one of those players that we could cut to save some bucks. But that doesn't mean we wouldn't be able to consider drafting and investing in a running back. There we go to Sly. We got J-Mo with a touchdown. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Defensively, Tyleek Williams in the second half. Lee McNeil. We got Aiden Hutchinson on the board. Big win, fellas. And the Lions, we might get a chance here to kind of, at this point, Wildcard. Look at the standings here. We are at week 18. We are on the road against the 10-6 Chicago Bears. Looking at the playoff spots, a lot could happen. Green Bay loses, and we win. We could jump up to the 4 seed. Green Bay wins, Chicago wins, we fall out of the playoffs. This is maybe the biggest game in Detroit Lions the last 20 years. Given the context. Win and you're in against a bitter divisional rival on the road. Lose and you're going home to your former savior offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. Let's see, man. We got to earn it. We got Amon-Ra St. Brown back. That helps. We will see, man. Can Dan Campbell out-coach Ben Johnson, who is the actual mastermind of that Detroit Lions era? Well, we got a very tightly contested matchup. Go-ahead score for the Bears. Oh, no. Oh, no, dude. No! Not even close! They dropped 40, almost 50 points on us. It was personal for Ben Johnson. God damn it. 5 touchdowns, Caleb Wood. Oh my God. Look, under a 50% complete rate. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks for Jared Goff. Our run game didn't go off at all. It's, at least Hutch got 2 sacks. So I guess before we get into, it's going to be a very interesting. Obviously, we might as well look at our contracts here so we can get a second opportunity. We have $15 million. So that's hopefully there's no one here that we would have wanted to resign. You have Rodrigo at linebacker, kind of a depth guy. Ozarike, depth guy. Okay, I mean, we got some starters here for sure. I think, how old's Muhammad? Like I say, he probably earned a contract. He had double-digit sacks this year, but at 30, that's not going to be a great return on investment. So, I mean, a 2-year for Amik Robert, but corner's arguably a position we're going to want to look at in the draft. I think I would like to keep Rodriguez because Anzalone walk at 30 and Rodriguez on a 3-year. That's for the rest of his prime. That's going to go like 1, 2. Let's round that up. Something like 3-year, 19 and a half. And there we go. So the other season, well, we crashed and burned. We had playoffs. And we no longer have. I mean, Green Bay won too. Like there was different scenarios where we could have gone up in the standings if other teams lost. No one else lost. I mean, the Niners did lose, but they already had the playoff spot in hand. But when you look at our ratings, I mean, you know, schematically, I don't know, once we get into just straight Madden Sim, if we're going to be able to be a top 3 offense, top 3 rushing offense, defense with like a lot of green as well. We will find out a lot about this team when we get into year 2 of this rebuild. Taking a look at the stats, Jared Goff, top 5 in touchdowns. But overall, man, I do think we're getting elephant in the room with Jared Goff. Not going to get rid of him this year. Like this, we're going to, obviously, let's see. I have no idea if Jared Goff goes for like 30, almost 40 touchdowns next year in the season. Like, that's our guy. We got to try to make it work with Jared Goff. But I think there may have to be a tough conversation here at some point in this rebuild. And I hope I'm wrong, honestly, because I think there's a lot of Detroit Lions fans in here that if you click on this video, like, oh, can we win the Super Bowl with Jared Goff in Madden? That'd be pretty cool. We'll try, but I think there may be an elephant in the room for this team going forward, and it's certainly no other position than the quarterback spot. Running the ball, I mean, very good. I think a question will come in is this like a sim? Will we be able to get this in the sim? Will next year our RB2 be really, really damn good, and will Jahmyr Gibbs be one of the best players in the league? 1,400 yards with 17 touchdowns, as well as another 500 through the air and 4 touchdowns, giving him over 20 on the year. A healthy Laporta being back will help. I think Tesla, as we continue to develop, will be interesting. Jameson Williams is solid. Amon-Ra missed a couple games, still goes for 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns. I think another thing to find out is this scheme, you know, Jameson Williams and Sam Laporta, are we ever going to be a 2,000-yard receiver offense? Because if that's the case, then there may be an argument that Jameson Williams is going to be worth re-signing. If this offense is going to be kind of run-heavy, and you only need one elite top dog playmaker, that's going to be St. Brown. If Laporta stats are pedestrian, there's just some teams, some schemes in Madden that the tight end doesn't eat, regardless of how good they are. I think that's another thing we need to consider. We have to balance between building around this Detroit Lions scheme or finding out that it's not for us and then finding another one that maximizes the players that we do have. Jack Campbell's an absolute beast here. 159 tackles, 7 TFLs, 5 sacks. We got 14.5 sacks from Aiden Hutchinson, 12 from Muhammad, 5.5 from Lee McNeil. And on the interception front, Kirby Joseph leads the team with 3. Ooh, bridesmaids, never brides here. Jahmyr Gibbs, runner-up for Offensive Player of the Year. Aiden Hutchinson, runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. But we do get, and I will always have that great source material on my channel, that I said Detroit, when they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, and when they drafted Jack Campbell, so many people are like, non-premium positions, this is terrible draft. I was like, I had them both graded as top 20 players in the class, and the fact that they got 2 top 20 players, regardless of position, was a hit. I was going against the grain. Most people were dunking on the draft picks at that time of Gibbs and Campbell. C4 was always a big fan, and here we have them both winning running back and linebacker of the year. Be very happy with that Super Bowl. For us, just for the sake of this, Frank Ragnow is re-retired. Oh, no. So take a look at our team at the end of the season. As far as offensive dev traits are concerned, not really anything. We do get Laporta is back in the lineup, so that certainly will help. Nowhere to go for Jahmyr Gibbs, winning running back of the year. On the defensive side of the ball, actually, I would say kind of surprising Muhammad here with double-digit sacks. Did not get off that normal dev trait, but we did have Jack Campbell going from star up to a superstar, which I very love to see. Don't think any other dev traits, but we end the year with no dev trait regression, so we're going to start year 2 with 2 superstar safeties, which is pretty sick. So I'm going to try to future-proof this rebuild. I'm not saying that we're going to get one, but I think for every single offseason, we look and see what's available at offensive coordinator, just in case we need to make a change. And unfortunately, we have no different schemes that we can bring in, so we'll just bring back, a whatever coach. It's going to be the Dan Campbell scheme. But I think every single time we see if there's an interesting offensive coordinator we bring up, which gives us a plan B if Dan Campbell, as our continued play caller, does not work out. Now, it's going to be fun. We are going to... I feel like if I decline both, I feel like there's a scenario here where I accept one and decline one and make it work around our salary cap. I'm going to accept on Jahmyr Gibbs, and I'm going to decline on Jack Campbell so that we can pay. So we just worry about having to pay one of them next year, and not a whole bunch. But we do need to thin out the herd where we can to save some money. So unfortunately, Brock Wright, that's almost $3.5 million. Thank you. And while I try to understand how we can kind of keep the band together, I don't want to be spending money like crazy. So we're going to sit out this free agent. So let's go to the draft. The 2 big positions of need. Now the only bummer is because we're use the start today. We did all our scouting on quarterback, which I guess. Looking at our roster, that's not something that we necessarily don't want to know the information on. But I think corner and edge are going to be the 2 big positions here. So let's... We're picking at 18. So that's kind of... Keldrick Falk would probably be worth taking a look at. We could trade up for Parker. We'll take a look at Hal. Uyunglele. Sure. Taking a look at the final mock draft, just get an idea where people are going. Uyunglele is going at 8. Great. TJ Parker at 11. Gerard McCoy, top corner, at 13. Dennis Sutton at 15. Delane at 16. So really, us sitting put at 18 is kind of letting everybody else get the top dogs, and we're kind of left. Now, we did get a first-round grade there on Keldrick Falk. I'm of the... I've used TJ Parker in a rebuild. I think I've used Mansour Delane. I've definitely used Mansour Delane. I've definitely used Ramad McCoy. I think if this board goes as such, maybe we call the Commanders. See what they're saying. All right, so the board, I got a little guest here. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Say hi. You say hi.
Hi.
Well, the mock draft goes as such, so let's see if we can trade up to get TJ Parker at pick 10. We're going to overpay. It looks like it'd cost us, going off of the trade value chart. We need to basically find 100 points to go from pick 18 to pick 10, and that is a second, and I threw in a 4th round pick this year, and that's enough to get the Commanders to do business so that we could go draft, help, next to Aiden Hutchinson. I kind of view this as if Muhammad can get double-digit sacks, what can TJ Parker be able to do? A power, B finesse, A tackle, combine is on point. Maybe not the greatest year at Clemson. I think everyone at Clemson defense, like Peter Woods, Avion Terrell, 2 kind of hyped up. A bunch of first rounders not really playing up to their standard, but I think the talent is there. At TJ Parker, number 8 in true value at pick 10. We get the hidden dev trait. Great athletic profile. He's going to be scary. All right, in the second round at pick 50, we are going to look at corner. See what kind of the corner map. Ooh, we got AJ Harris still from Penn State. Is he a scheme fit? He is a scheme fit. We're going to go elsewhere. I do like Hill from Michigan if we're going to go, I don't know, a local guy. If we're blind picking, neither one of these guys looks the best. But you know what? Let's trust the value here. AJ Harris, only 20, high ceiling. Claire, if he has a blue question mark, we're going to be very happy. 72 at 50, not happy with that. Can you go boo? Here you go. That's a boo pick right there. Boo earns. They're saying boo earns. Now, I'm going to be honest. I think we just kind of go BPA. And if I'm looking at all the players that are still left, BPA is probably Orange from Iowa State. I don't love drafting nose tackles, but I think there's going to be a good player. 166 at 146. He does have a dev trait. And if salary cap gets tight, we can already make a profit releasing Aleem McNeil, which you don't want to do. Homegrown player, it's a hit. But I think it was like I'd free up almost $16 million by moving off of Aleem McNeil. And if it comes to like paying Jahmyr Gibbs or Jack Campbell or a D tackle, we just got ourselves a little bit more upside. Because, I mean, I think if we had to get rid of McNeil, Orange, and Tyleek Williams, that could probably get the job done at D tackle if we have to. I think now, if we're kind of viewing, how is this? I gotta trust the player. Robert Henry Jr. was like on pace to have like challenge for Genty's like rushing record. So for me, looking at our roster, there we go. Trust the name value again. No dev trait. The rating should be good. He's almost a top 100 player. And again, kind of thinking of future proofing. Where can we save bucks? David Montgomery's contract, pretty expensive for an RB2. This could give us some cover down the line. Now in the 7th round, we're gonna go special teams. Wetjen. Probably the best return man in the nation out of Iowa. Kind of want to see the pure straight line speed. Yep, 97 speed. That checks out. I think we'll finish it. Go Michigan kicker. We need to replace Jake Bates, and we get Zavada. I'm expecting to be pretty good true value. A first round pick in true value at 210. So take a look at our draft recap here. Pretty good class. Pretty good. I mean, Wetjen for being sub 70 has a niche role. Orange being sub 70 has a dev trait, so a higher ceiling. I think A.J. Harris being normal dev stings a little bit. But, dev traits don't make or break a player. But corner is one of the more tougher positions to get a breakout. Henry 70, the kicker's a 74, but it's all about T.J. Parker. 77, dev trait. I think him and Aiden Hutchinson can be very, very special for this defense. There we go. We got T.J. Parker going in the drills here. Oh, here we go. Sewell, 1v1. Oh, quickly. Inside move on Sewell. Throws off Ratledge. Taylor Decker. Oh, he's actually doing a pretty good job. Get off me! Yes, we're still going to get it. No! Wasn't pretty, but a gold medal. They're not all pretty. This is unbelievable. Okay, I'm not going to throw you-know-who under the bus here. We're just kind of moving on, right? Just trying to quickly record. She's waiting me to play some YouTube videos. Get gold medal for TJ Parker. One of like maybe the 2-3 times we've got something cool to happen. Got the gold medal, got a dev trade increase for TJ Parker. So that first round pick, I think it wouldn't be shocking. Now, we got a long ways to go. House rules in realistic rebuilds is to go scheme fit. It's not very fun to get run stopper scheme fit, but dev trade increase out of training camp for TJ Parker. So as we start year 2 for the Lions, big question is going to be scheme, how well they actually play now that we're not like inheriting stats from a season. I think all eyes, the defense should be much improved. Excited to see what Hutch and TJ Parker can do. But all eyes, I think, are going to be on Jared Goff. This is where, and it's going to be a critical moment at 31 years old. Is he going to be the guy? We have to decide this season. Unless, I think his one lifeline could be, if this year's terrible and we can find like a different offensive scheme, like a new offensive coordinator, maybe there could be like, well, let's see what Goff can do with this guy. I think big picture here, year 2 of this rebuild, we have to determine whether or not Jared Goff is going to be the quarterback to bring this Lions team a Super Bowl. So at midseason here, we are 6-2. Pretty good record. Definitely things turning for the better for Detroit now that we're in rebuild with injuries off. It's a franchise that has just struggled to stay healthy. We have the number 1 offense, but that is very much in a part to Mr. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. The number 2 rushing offense, our passing offense, not particularly good. Top 5 defense overall. Now, here's where we have tough questions to be at. $25 million of salary cap. We have Brian Branch, Sam Laporta, Jack Campbell, all very clearly needing a new contract. I really do feel like I'm at a spot where I don't think the tight end if our offense stays as such, is going to justify, if he was still getting 900 yards, 10 touchdowns, 700 yards. But look, the last 2 years, not great. Great player, maybe better for somebody else. So what I'm thinking we do is we lock in Brian Branch for this rebuild, and at the end of the season, maybe move some salary, because I think Jack Campbell is also definitely a player we need to, move mountains if we need to retain his services. We need to free up about $9 million in salary cap. We have ways to do that, but I think we'll have to wait till the offseason, or right before free agency starts to kind of move some pieces around. And to circle back around with our first round pick, TJ Parker to Clemson, we get a nice 2-point upgrade. He's already a perfect scheme fit, and the 1-2 punch of him and Aiden Hutchinson just taking things over for our defense. I mean, we got a top 5 defense. Defense is playing at an incredibly high level, and I want to try my best to make sure we can keep that all together. But with his little XP that we got there, which was very nice, 10 sacks in a season, and he's already a superstar dev playmaker. Let's put the C on his chest. So at the end of year number 2, we go 12-5. A lot of green, man. A lot of green. Credit to Jared Goff and the offense. Sorted out that passing offense a little bit. Finishes in the green. Yeah, very happy with that. Jahmyr Gibbs leading the league in rush yards. I think tied for first with Jonathan Taylor for touchdowns. Jared Goff, a top 10 quarterback. 35 touchdowns, 4 picks, 3,900 yards. Great 1-2 punch. I love that, man. I love the playbook being like real life. I love the distinctness. You don't get this type of rushing production with any offense in Madden 26. 1,700 yards, 17 touchdowns, over 100 yards a game for Jahmyr Gibbs. David Montgomery doing the damn thing here. From receiving, we get 2,000-yard receivers, J-Mo and Amon-Ra St. Brown. We get double-digit touchdowns from Isaac Tesla, who needs to step up, because I think with our salary cap, we're on board time with J-Mo, and Tesla is going to have to step up long-term with St. Brown. It's like a 1-2 punch. I think we can do that. Defensively, Jack Campbell, who I do want to still try and find a way to re-sign, was very good. We have 16 sacks from Aiden Hutchinson, 12.5 from the rookie TJ Parker, 9.5 from Lee McNeil, 5.5 for Tyleek Williams. McNeil might be, however, the play that might have to make way for us to get money for Jack Campbell. Remember, his contract was team-friendly at this point, and I'm not going to say we're going to release him. There absolutely would be a really, really good trade market for Lee McNeil, so I'm thinking that's something we may need to consider. We will see. Maybe restructuring could be in play as well. Interception numbers, though, for this, the talent that we do have, ascending talent. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, we're the best safety duo in the league. I think I'd like to see a little bit more in the pick department, especially from Brian Branch. We just paid almost $100 million. Runner-up Defensive Rookie of the Year. Okay. Our only award winner ends up being Jahmyr Gibbs getting Running Back of the Year. To break some records, Aiden Hutchinson has broken the Lions single-season sack record here this season with 16. And TJ Parker breaks the rookie season sack record with 12. So another taste at playoffs. We got the 10-7 Seattle Seahawks. Also have a decent amount of green there. Rushing, defense, very good defense. I think we're the better team. And as the home team, I'm expecting a win here. See what we can do, man. We got a super expensive roster. We have maxed out our salary cap pretty much in year 2 of a rebuild. Not my favorite spot to be in. But if we are in that spot, I am going to shift my expectations to be let's win. Or else I'm going to have to start getting creative and tearing down this team a little bit to get them in a healthy spot for this rebuild. But we're playing very well. 21-11, up 10 going into the fourth quarter. And I expect our defense that has been playing at an incredibly high level in a Madden sim. We're here in Madden 26. Great defenses tend to be the tough teams to beat. That is a very nice win. 10-point win to kick off a playoff run over a very good defense in Seattle Seahawks. Looking at our team, Jared Goff, let's go. Pretty much one of the only things eluding Jared Goff right now. He's been a solid to good regular season quarterback. Doesn't really have many notable playoff games, if any. This could be his best playoff performance in his 10-year career. 4 touchdowns, no picks against a very good defense. Gibbs did his job. St. Brown, awesome defensively. Hutch and McNeil getting set. Man, I really don't want to get rid of McNeil. There's a way we could move some money around without getting rid of him to bring back and keep Jack Campbell. I think that's going to be the perfect resolution. In the divisional round, we get the 11-6 New York Giants, who also, like us, have a lot of green. Top 5 offense, top 3 defense. I will say, mildly annoyed at how good the Giants have kind of turned into here in Madden 26 Sim. Here we go. Home playoff game. You know we got the best. You know Tim Allen and Eminem are there, ready to bring the juice for an electrifying playoff atmosphere. Jared Goff playing with all the confidence in the world. 4 touchdowns in the wild card round. And if we can get Jared Goff to get hot at the right time, it's going to be very good. 21-10. Ooh, okay. Letting the Giants get back into this. Not a great, they adjusted. We did not adjust so far. Come on, Dan. Settle for a field goal. That ain't going to help us, man. That ain't going to help us. I don't think they've kicked a field goal all goddamn game. Wow, what kind of game management is that? We go up 31-24. They kick a field goal and think that there's... Come on, Dabes. Disappointed in that play calling, but it benefits the good guys in this scenario. Jared Goff with another very good showing. Not as perfect as a week ago, but I ain't going to complain. 240, 72%, 3 touchdowns. Did have the 1 blemish there. Jahmyr Gibbs crushed it as always. We can rely on our big 3 targets there, over 100 yards for J-Mo. Jack Campbell the sack, Tyleek Williams with the second half. Again, if we have to move off from McLean McNeil to kind of move the salary cap around, I do think Tyleek Williams would thrive as our D-tackle 1. That is a huge performance. And the Lions, in year 2 of this 5-year rebuild, are heading to the NFC Championship game. And Baker Mayfield has figured it out. The Bucs at 13-4, the 1 seed. Offensively, not crazy, but... Said it in our very first game. I do tend to feel like in Madden 26 Sim, defense is better than offense, and they have the #1 defense in the NFL, led by Antoine Winfield Jr. and Vita Vea. Okay? I think we have a really good defense as well. I think we have the better pass rush in this scenario, and we have the much better offense. I'm tasting Super Bowl here. All right, let's sink their battleship. Got that little cute boat in the rafters. Got a little pirate there. It's time to bite their freaking kneecaps off. And I don't know if the best way to do that is spotting them. 21 points in the first quarter. They've scored on every single drive. But somehow we've... Oh my God, dude. Our defense... I think they've scored. We literally looked tail of tape. Their offense was meh. And of course, meh offense is going to score fucking 41 points on us. You know what? Fuck it. It's a little too early in the rebuild for us to go make a Super Bowl to win a Super Bowl. But Jesus fucking Christ. 400 yards and 5 touchdowns for Baker Mayfield. That is unacceptable. I guess they didn't go on and win, so that's a dub. For our squad, on a dev trade standpoint, nothing up or down offensively. Everyone's dev trade remains the same, which was as expected, right? Was Amon, or did Amon, was he? Yeah, no, sorry. We lost an X Factor on St. Brown, which I still think is bullshit. I think if you get 1,000 yards, dev trade should remain untouched. Defensively, every dev trade remains the same. Wow, man. Kind of year that we had, no dev traits up, and we actually lost one. That seems very harsh. Had a couple of retirements. Graham Glasgow and Taylor Decker retire on the offensive line, so that was, 2 starters for us. Does free up a little bit of salary cap space. So much has gone into, do I got to fire the coach? Do I got to change the scheme? I wasn't in love with the numbers of Jared Goff, but still, I don't think there's a cause to really fire anybody just quite yet. Now we got $48 million from a salary cap standpoint. We're going to decline the option on Terry and Arnold. We are going to re-sign Jack Campbell for the rest of this rebuild. Probably, honestly, given the money, we probably could come with a competitive offer for Sam Laporta. I just don't think that's in our team's best interest. We don't utilize the tight end enough. What I'm going to do right now is just with the retirement, I'm going to move Miles Frazier to tackle. Played everywhere across the line for LSU. will give us a little bit of cover there, but I do think tight end and now left tackle to replace Taylor Decker is going to be a top priority for the team. He's still only like a 73. That's not really good enough at left tackle, and he's normal dev. Going in for agency with $33 million, we could potentially pick up the phone and do some dealings, but when you look at the positions of need, we need a left tackle, the draft. We need a center. Again, probably the draft. If there was someone that had like full green bar, that was a veteran, that was more of a win now, because we're in a win now program, absolutely. But everyone that would be like better than just trying to see if we can get someone in the draft, no interest. So I'd have to like kind of significantly overpay. It's not great, but we will see where Sam Laporta ends up. Been a great Detroit Lion, and he's now an LA Charger. You look at mock draft 5. Ooh, okay. Love that. Love seeing us reach final projection for a right tackle. Beautiful. We're not going to be in the way of trading up right now. I think I want to try to keep as many of the picks as I possibly can. But the bastard with this draft, and it's been fairly consistent, it's not a good year to need a tackle because the tackles always go early. Like Baker at 18 to the Eagles is a second-round pick. Chaplin, 21. Bowery, 22. Bowery's who I was going to plan on trying to target here. All those guys are like second-round picks that are getting overdrafted in the first round, which, to me, like, look what we got. We got wideouts here as BPAs. We need a tackle. There's not a first-round tackle available, unfortunately. There's not, if we want to go best lineman available, we maybe could with Knapp. Secondary needs for us, I mean, we're good. We're good everywhere on the defense. Every defensive spot has a starter. We look at tight end. I think Trey Green, we just take the board as is. We use Trey Green in a Falcons rebuild. If you watch that video, you know what we're about to get. It's the right move to make. I want it tackle. Center would be our secondary need. Tight end, a third need. I don't necessarily love the idea of like we're gonna let a good tight end, great tight end, Sam Laporta walk. Superstar dev tight end was 90. Just because we could probably afford to pay him, maybe tightens the salary cap a little bit, but we just can't justify it because our offense doesn't utilize a tight end like that. And then that was good process. And then here we're drafting a tight end in the first round with that logic. It's kind of flawed logic and reasoning, but Trey Green is absolutely BPA. It is a position we need a starter at. So we gotta, couldn't go tackle. We'll play the hand that we are dealt, and we get number 16 at True Value at pick 30, 6'7", dev trait. Day 1 starter, let's go. So we draft the only kind of day 2 tackle. We didn't have a second-round pick that looked deep, and it actually worked out. Wilkin Formby from Alabama, number 68 at 94. No dev trade, anything like that, but he should be in the 70s, and gives us something on the offensive line at left tackle. Adds competition with Miles Frazier. So take a look at our draft recap. Well, yeah, for whatever reason, in the sports gaming rosters draft classes, the long snappers are not good ratings. So I'll actually go ahead right now. We'll make him, I don't know, we'll give him a 65, probably. Seems fair, without overpowering it too much. I don't know. Actually, I did tidy up these rosters, and I thought I did fix the long snappers. It's just probably something with carryover. We'll give him, I don't know, 67. 6'7", there we go for the meme. And that should bring his rating up just a little bit. There we go, 61, we can live with that. We got a punter, we need to kind of retool our special teams punter and long snapper. 70 rated punter, 68 center. Could honestly, Drew Bobo here from Georgia compete for starting center. We get Wilkin Formby, 71 at right tackle. And we are going to switch him over to left tackle, where he will enter the left tackle competition. Not going to lie, though, doesn't really eliminate us going tackle next year when we get into the Madden generated classes to see if we can get one with a dev trait with a high ceiling. But Trey Green in the first round at pick 30, a lot of value there. And hopefully, maybe we find a way to get him the football a little bit more than what we were getting Sam Laporta. Now, we're going to be here real quick. I hate it. It's my own fault. When, everything when I'm recording a rebuild, it's just muscle memory. That's like, all right. Quickly, we just got a gold medal with Wilkin Formby in the O-line training camp drill. We sadly now have a tackle with an upside. Let's go. What's the scheme fit? Oh, shit. We now have a tackle that, yay, we got a dev trait, but because of house rules for our realistic rebuild, now it's not a brutal one because it gets a little bit uglier when you're trying to like level up an agile lineman when it's power scheme or vice versa. Pass protector's not so bad because you will, anytime you get like, pass block power, it's going to increase your base overall. But we still have a very long way to go for his development. Every time we level him up, we have to spend it in pass protector due to our house rule. So you know what? We deserve getting that dev trait breakout. So we have 3 rookie starters on an offense that is expected to compete for a Super Bowl. Trey Green at tight end, taking over for Laporta. Yeah, no, that's certainly a loss. We got Bobo, mid-round pick from Georgia, 68 at center. I think that's, survivable. We got Mahogany at left guard and Forma, who we got the dev trait at left tackle. But I probably fair to assume there's going to be a little bit of regression, especially from maybe the rushing offense for how good it was with this, growing pains would probably be the best way to put it. There's probably going to be some growing pains with these young bucks on the offensive side of the ball. But the inverse of that is the expectations never been high for the defense. We thought that maybe we had to get rid of Lee McNeil to afford to keep Campbell. Was not the case. Our defense should be top 5, if not top 3 in the NFL. And I sure as shit want to see a lot more production out of Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. So, with the growing pains of the offensive line and tight end, we still go 6-1. Our ratings are pretty good. Across the board, pretty good. 5th in points, 1st in rushing, as expected. Overall points per game, it's good. Okay, we're bent not breaking. We're not letting a lot of points up. I think 9 times out of 10, I will take in the green as far as points per game. Couldn't really care less about the passing and rush yards. Looking at our contract, so 6-1, very happy with where we're at, $34 million. Yeah, I mean, right away, you have Jahmyr Gibbs, 77.5, probably, I think maybe 79 next time. I think Terrion Arnold's worth, some continued development here. We'll give him a 4-year deal. Scheme fit. DJ Reed will get younger at the position. Derek Barnes, we're fine. Mahogany has developed into a decent starter for us, already a scheme fit. But I think this is going to have to be very much one of those rebuilds with our limited cap space. I want to say take advantage. It's not always a guarantee. Sometimes there's not great Madden-generated draft class offensive linemen. But I think we need to just play the odds, play the probability. If we need a couple linemen and like a corner, those are 2 of the 3 probably most strongest positions that constantly appear in Madden-generated classes. Like you said, gun to your head, you had to blind pick, corner, D-tackle, O-line. Maybe not tackle, but like interior O-line, D-tackle, corner. Those are probably the 3 best positions I have anyways at hitting at a pretty high hit rate. So we'll sign Jahmyr Gibbs. Everybody else, thank you for your service. All right, so at the end of year number 3, we go 15-2. We get the 1 seed. We get back-to-back NFC North titles. We have a good amount of green. Get a little bit of goop. But I don't want to say it's necessarily the elephant in the room. But, is this going to be good enough? If he gets hot in the playoffs like he did last year, where the first, couple games, at no point was our playoff loss against and down to Jared Goff last year. So if he can get hot for a playoff run, absolutely. But, man, I don't know. I do feel like we're at a spot where like he might start cannibalizing our receivers. Also, or we're just a run team. We are a run-first team. So, what is, does that change how we value the quarterback position? Like, is his contract coming up during this rebuild? Because he's at 32, so he's already going to stay. He has 2 years left. So, I mean, it'd be one of those things, I think he's going to be here. Assuming that's not, including 2026. Yeah, so he will be gone year 5. There's a chance we finish this rebuild with a different quarterback. And point being is that we got to remember these type of seasons, depending on how far we go in the playoffs. They're like, maybe someone else could get more out of this passing offense, but our run game is elite. Gibbs is so freaking good. But we have, Amon-Ra St. Brown's dev trait's going to get cannibalized because of this offense. The good news, if you remember, our Falcons rebuild is our rookie Trey Green is superstar. So we lose Sam Laporta, a superstar tight end. We gain in the first round a superstar tight end. So everything looks good on that front. Defensively, Jack Campbell, a tackle machine. Our pass rush is pretty terrifying. I'm so glad we didn't get rid of Aleem McNeil. 12.5 sacks at D tackle, 15.5 for TJ Parker, 16.5 and 19 TFLs for Aiden Hutchinson, while our INTs still are pretty disappointing. Only 3 picks combined for our 290-plus superstar DBs is not great. But we did bring home some hardware. Aiden Hutchinson not only wins D-Lineman of the Year, but he wins Defensive Player of the Year, beating Micah Parsons in the Packers. We get Offensive Rookie of the Year going to Trey'Dez Green. We get Running Back of the Year going to Jahmyr Gibbs. And Lineman of the Year going to Sewell with Ratledge at number 2. And the first round of the playoffs, for us, we get a below 500 Washington Commanders team. Was a top 10 rushing offense. Everything else, middle of the mall. Let's go handle business and get back to an NFC Championship game. Ford Field. You know what? I'd say because the Commanders are below 500, if things get a little dicey, maybe we'll just interject a little bit. Wouldn't mind, tossing the old rock here. Maybe get Amon-Ra St. Brown over 100 yards. But the offense is, hey, this team is controlling the game, the tempo, offense, defense. They don't need me. They don't need to look for the hot tag. We are able to go out, control the Commanders, able to get a garbage time score to make it look a little bit better than what it was. But the defense showed up. The offense showed up 27-11. And the Detroit Lions are back in a championship game. In this matchup, Jared Goff, not his best performance, but no turnovers. 57% is not great. 2 touchdowns, no picks. I'll take that every day of the week. David Montgomery with a touchdown. Amon-Ra was great. Definitely getting the game ball offensively. Hutch, Parker, DJ Reed. Let's go. If we're going to make it to a Super Bowl, we got to run through the NFC East. We get the 9-8 Philadelphia Eagles, who are honestly not overly terrifying. Their run game's on point. Their run defense on point. But based off rosters, based off of performance, the expectations at home are the Detroit Lions are going to be appearing in a Super Bowl. I'll be honest, I'm surprised. I literally have in my notes here, because I keep notes of every rebuild that we do. I was just like, OC question mark. Like, I thought this was going to be a rebuild. Pay attention to the coordinators to get fired. We might need to change up the scheme. It's been a great scheme, offensively and defensively. This Detroit Lions team hasn't really let me down. But we are in our window. We're viewing Jared Goff's prime as our window. This is pretty much near the end of it. And if we can't find a way into the Super Bowl, we might run out of time. Like, our window is certainly closing. And, we're going to need our defense to get the ball back here. Man. Another just piss down our leg. 2 straight championship game losses. And I bet you Goff played like shit again. So I think we have to, unfortunately, revert back to the elephant in the room, which is, can we win with this guy? And we got a I think if we let his contract run up, we got year 4 with Jared Goff, and then we go year 5 question mark. Do we wait that long, or do we rip the Band-Aid off to give us 2 years? I think that is going to be dictated by, I guess, maybe the quarterbacks that are in this draft class, because you can't really rely on free agency or trades or anything like that. But at least we beat up on the team that lost in the Super Bowl for back-to-back years. I'd like to think that was us, right? They just came limping out of the championship game, and we gave the very nice assist to the AFC team back-to-back years. So for our team on a dev trade standpoint, just cannibalizing Amon-Ra St. Brown's dev trade. Very frustrating. No other dev trades up or down. We did have Formby, star dev, earned that in training camp. Trey'Dez Green, superstar dev. Defensively, we have, as far as dev trades, we lose the superstar on Brian Branch, who I think it's fair to say that both these guys have been incredibly disappointing. We're going to lose DJ Reed to free agency. So our draft, we need corner for sure. We're going to need maybe quarterback, BPA offensive line. It's all options. It's all on the table. So just out of curiosity, if we want to trade Jared Goff before the draft, what kind of value can we get? We have pick 30, so if I want to get a quarterback in this year's class, we're definitely going to need to get into the teens. So, we can get us... The Raiders are interested. Put it that way. A second and a third I'd rather, okay. I mean, we could start with that. So we're going to make this trade happen. There's good quarterbacks this year. I don't know if there's any great ones, but we are going to get rid of Jared Goff. We're going to let the Raiders kind of history repeat itself. Very Geno Smith-esque. Now they're still getting an 80 superstar quarterback. We're going to get a second and third round pick, as well as, why not sweeten it? Give me Dante Thornton Jr. Now, came back to bite us in the ass a little bit. This is a quarterback I like. I think we're going to change things up again. We're going to be a run team. Why don't we maybe consider, I love 4Bs. I'm actually very surprised Monty McNeil from Hawaii is not at least like a round 1-2 talent. All the Bs, he runs a 4.48 elite speed. So that's probably going to be 90 plus, in the 90 plus category. So this is as good an athlete as I've seen in a minute. I know you can get, better athletes at quarterback, but not much better. He is in the top tier. Throw power is good. You'd love to see at least great in that department. Question is, can we, is that additional second round pick, where we're picking the top quarterback, Moran, looks solid. Again, not like necessarily someone that, got the elite throw power and a bunch of A's, but it looks, we scouted Falk as well, has A short, A throw under pressure, B deep accuracy, good throw power. There's no cannon of an arm quarterbacks, but just for McNeil, this was pretty much like, let's scout the fast quarterback. I think schematically is someone I liked and intrigued by. Can we get him not in the first round would be the question. Does he fall out of the first round? And it absolutely looks like he does. Not really a run on quarterbacks at all. We could have pick of the litter for what all things are considered here. Interesting. So I think we still go Monty McNeil. I mean, the other target I want to get, we have Devontae Moats, a corner that is a first-round talent, which, again, wasn't necessarily hard to pick out. Double Bs for a non-first-round corner. Looks pretty good more often than not. We should also be able to get him in the second round. But I think we go with the speedy quarterback. And we also have, just to show everyone, A accuracy on Wilson. A little bit slower. Great throw power. There's no, I don't think, blind pick. We have Hawkins here as well. Good letter grades, good mixes. A couple A's in the mix. Great throw power. He actually looks pretty decent. But if I'm blind picking, I think McNeil, base rating, second, third rounds, probably, he's going to be probably like a 70, 71. But I think with this elite athletic profile, we should be able to guarantee there's a dev trait there. And I don't really want to strike on, I'd rather a 70 dev trait quarterback than a 73 normal quarterback. I need the high ceiling. We need to maximize his growth and potential year 4 and year 5. And for me, I'm thinking we don't need another Jared Goff, right? A Jared Goff in this scheme is not the best. We lost David Montgomery in the backfield. So if our quarterback can pick up and be our quarterback of the future and help the run game and be that secondary running option next to Jahmyr Gibbs, that is exactly what we want. And if that is the profile that we want, I don't care that he's number 80 in true value, because I guarantee we got a dev trait for a quarterback. Look at 90 throw power will do, but look at that. 90 acceleration, 94 change of direction, 90 speed. I don't know if this is going to work, but I think if you're going to be like, Jared Goff ain't it, getting another Jared Goff, which was pretty much every other quarterback that was available, we had to get something different, and we did. But we got greedy. We let Moat. We just fucking let the top corner. There's 7 other corners could have got drafted before him. I was like, all right, let's see if maybe a corner or two go, because with our pick with the Raiders, well, they won the Super Bowl, so we pick. We might as well just, we'll stay put here. God, that pisses me off. Well, for needs, got tackle. There's no tackle worth selecting there. We need a center, of course. All UDFA. We do have an A pass block here on Rodney Divins. But at the end of the day, don't really care. Not much there, not much. I mean, this guy down here is double Bs, but like that'd be something you wait and get a little bit later on. So now we gotta look for corners. We have any good? Ooh, Combs, A man, A press, A tackle, scheme fit, day 3. Don't mind if I do. We have Bennett here, also looks pretty decent. Do we have any other A tackle? Ooh, we got a couple A tackle. Howard, B catching. Shaw looks like he could be pretty decent as well. But I think in this spot, we're going to go with Jordan Combs from Vandy. Double A's. Day 3 pick. We need a corner, losing DJ Reed. 50 at 62. No dev trait, though. Our board sucks. I think we're just going to have to punt till next year's class, so I'll pick up a future second here. Got to grab the double B UDFA guard. And this is one of the rare teams that you get that power scheme fit for the interior. That's where you can tend to get the cheesy players with our house rule of making them scheme fits, but it just cannot buy a dev trait. How about we start rolling some of these A tackle corners? Trey Howard, 47 in true value at 96. No dev trade. All right, how about Alex Cologne? Another double B guard. Top 100 player. No dev trade. Okay, come on. Cheesy nose tackle pick. First most bench press. Oh, come on. You got to be. And our streak of normal devs. Top 20 player. UDFA grade. We need this guy for the undraftables, which I'm going to plug right now. That will be coming out tomorrow. Sorry on the delay, but we have one episode left of the regular season. Then we're getting into a we're going to do an off-season stream. So I figure I'll have that come out on Wednesday. Stream Friday. Felt like a little bit better timing than Tuesday, waiting all the way to Friday. But there we go. Very nice selection here. All right, A tackle, B man, UDFA corner, Shaw, 67 at 190. No dev trade. Great. Fuck! We'll just sim this one out. My board is shot. Hey, this whole class is going to come down to the fact that we now have a lot of salary cap to maneuver and be aggressive in free agency. But we moved off of Jared Goff. Didn't really get a lot in return in those picks. But we did look at this class. Everybody except of one. Well, I kind of went with the athletic undersize, and we got kind of baited a little bit. Shaw, 72. Dillon, 77 dev trait. Cologne, 70 normal. Howard, 73 normal. Henson, 73 normal. Combs, 73 normal. And then we got McNeil, 71 with a dev trait. And I think it's a little bit on the lower side of awareness. He had like, a lot of generated quarterbacks tend to have like low 70s. He'd probably be 72, 73. 90 throw power. Awesome. 81 throw on the run. But for me, it's about that athletic profile. It's about getting something different than Jared Goff to see if that is what is the missing piece. And the fact that we got that all with a dev trait, very excited to see. Let's see how that kind of stacks up, though, because we did go blind pick territory. It wasn't like I planned this and, like, future scouted and focus scouted quarterbacks to have all the information. Damn. Not too often to see a Mike be the best player in the class. Looking at the quarterbacks here, though, that's what we want to see. Vernon Wilson, 74. 74 for Hawkins. He's probably would have been the one I would have went. If I didn't go with our quarterback, I think Hawkins was kind of the best combination. Strong arm, had the best arm. But, again, that's almost literally the exact scenario. I would rather, in our scenario now, we have a 71 big-time athlete, anti-Jared Goff, dev trade quarterback. I'd take that over a 74 normal every day of the week. And why the hell are they drafting a quarterback in the second round? Let's see if we can get this gold medal. And by like that, I mean we're going to get a bullseye and then follow it up with a sack and have no chance, I don't think, to turn this one around. Come on, let's get maybe another one. How about 2 more throws off, maybe. Oh, 1 more. Come on. Oh, you fuck. Still, that silver did give us 2 upgrade points, so we're going to put that both in here into strong arm quarterback. And hopefully we get a couple throw power bumps. But still, ends his training camp as a 73. Not to say we're going to cheese for the sake of cheesing. But we're also, let's bring in 2 mentor quarterbacks to bump that XP. So we'll bring in Mariota and Josh Dobbs. A brand new debut post Jared Goff era. We have a very tough New York Giants team at home to kick off year 4. Let's see what the young buck can do. Front row seats. I think the worst thing from like a gameplay perspective, fast quarterbacks don't really play like fast quarterbacks unless you're like an X Factor or whatever and you get all those like fast quarterback abilities. So that's certainly something we're gonna like, you know, it's frustrating, but I guess it makes sense. More of a head-to-head issue that's carrying it, but we can hit a slant pass as good as anybody, and Amon-Ra is excited, man. Finally, maybe his stats won't get cannibalized the way that he started as an X Factor, 2 years of Jared Goff, and he's a star-dev trait. Maybe the fresh blood at quarterback is gonna get Amon-Ra back playing at the level we need him to. Defense struggling here a little bit, but look, we got an opportunity. Red zone offense itself, from a sim standpoint, they can finish off. A drive will come in here on a 3rd and 2. And one of the few offenses that when you get these running back routes, they're totally worth considering because Gibbs is that good of a weapon. Look at that, just playing it right on the money. Superstar, he gone. Fluid motion, no one's catching him. He's just having a little bit of motion. Look at that, 28 points. It is a new era in Detroit. Defense don't love the insta scores that we're giving up, right? 35 points, definitely not sustainable. But let's hop in here, man. Let's tie this one up. Maybe send this one to overtime with this young quarterback. 0 turnovers, protecting the football. Maybe on this one we do right away, design run. There we go, very nice. You know, no abilities. Feel like you get an ability or two that, you know, your burst, it is stupid. It's one of those absolute decisions in franchise design that franchise versus CPU players had to deal with because it's an issue for like user versus user or online play. It'd be cool to turn that off. We float up, Trades Green, 6-7, great play on the much smaller DB. What a ball. And we're going to overtime. A chance in an NFL debut for McNeil out of Hawaii. Doing it for the Colt Brennans of the world. Look at that quick throw, quick. That was a mulligan. Had about 5 plays, all been good until that point. Wonder if we could probably house call here with Gibbs. Let's give us a little bit of breathing room. 5 touchdowns, no picks for Monty McNeil. What, I've only done 2 of those. So he has played perfect. We've just seasoned it a little bit and took it from A tier to S tier. Oh my God, just float. Yeah, I mean, Gibbs is so good, man. Game over. What? Maybe the greatest debut for a rookie quarterback in NFL history. Overtime win against the Giants, who in this world are Super Bowl contenders. 6 touchdowns, 400 yards. Monty Mc, and I got half that. Like this, you know, he would have had 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks if I wasn't controlled. So I think he would have went off either way. Don't love the scheme. Like, why did Gibbs not run the ball at all? Very weird. But look at that hat trick for St. Brown. Gibbs went off defensively. Now we gave up a lot of points, but like we still got some sacks. We got an interception. Okay, good start. Yep. Just I leveled him up to level 72, and if you see what I see, we're real happy with the selection here of Monty McNeil. Another dominating win. Monty McNeil gets another, like he did in his debut, Offensive Player of the Week performance. 5 touchdowns this time and a win over the Commanders. We're at the bye with a brand new quarter. I'm just saying. Every now and again, a Hail Mary works out. Right? We lose Sam Laporta. And what do? We get Trades Green. We replace a superstar tight end with a superstar tight end. We move off of Jared Goff, who was an 80 superstar. And we have McNeil, who in his rookie campaign has already got Offensive Player of the Week twice. He's 77, will probably finish this year at or better than what Jared Goff would finish year 4 if we stuck with it. And our passing offense, which under Jared Goff was in the 20s, 2-0. Top 10 right now. Number 7, number 1 overall offense, number 1 rush offense, top 10 defense. Sometimes you got to go a little crazy. Look at our salary cap, $113 million. So that pretty much is like, all right, let's pay Amon-Ra what he wants. I think we're going to get him back and get those depth traits out. It looks a little ugly right now, giving him that amount of money as a star dev. I think we'll get him back up to superstar. We have Tyleik Williams at nose tackle. I think we'll keep you because of homegrown for sure. I think Tate Ratledge, another homegrown lineman, lock him in for 3 years. However, I think Lee McNeil having no interest in re-signing. Same with Tesla. I'm thinking Dante Thornton is going to take that Tesla spot on the wide receiver depth chart. He'll be our new wide receiver 3. So we get our 30 touchdown, 3,000 yard cheese XP on McNeil. So we drafted a 71 hidden dev quarterback, and we're not done yet. I've yet to get a throw power increase, though, for spending all of his upgrade points in strong arm. Kind of hoping we could jinx that there. Still stuck on a 90 throw power. But to go from 71 hidden dev to 85 superstar and still a couple weeks left plus a playoff run, pretty special. So if the cost from going to a new franchise quarterback from Jared Goff is, we went 15-2 last year, 1 seed NFC champs. This year, still 12-5. We're about 10 spot. I think we were 25th in pass yards, so we're 16th. Better in that department. Unfortunately, though, the 1 seed's no longer there. The Vikings are really good this year, so we did not win the NFC North for the first time post year 1, which obviously we inherited the Detroit Lions that year. So, I mean, at minimum, though, okay, Jahmyr Gibbs slowing down just a little bit. But look at the numbers for a quarterback. We're back up 35 touchdowns, 9 picks for a rookie. Assuming this is his floor, this is kind of like the best we were getting of Jared Goff, if that's how we want to choose to interpret this. Jahmyr Gibbs still real solid. We got 3 rushing touchdowns from McNeil. Obviously, with the scheme, I'm not expecting him to kind of run all over the place, but 38 total touchdowns, 4,000 total yards as a rookie. I think we obviously made the right decision. Still no 1,000 yards, though. I mean, Amon-Ra played better. 13 touchdowns on the year. But kind of frustrating that, Detroit's one of the offenses, apparently, you don't really get slot wide receiver cheese, which is kind of bizarre given, Amon-Ra St. Brown's their top go-to guy. From a tackle standpoint, kind of moved the defense around a little bit to see if we can get more production. Moved Brian Branch as a sub linebacker. Leads the team in tackles. Moved Kirby Joseph into the nickel. See if he can get some interceptions. Could not. 14 sacks Hutchinson. 8.5 TJ Parker. Rest of the sacks not great. Interceptions. We did get 6 picks. AJ Harris. So that'd be pretty cool. We got him in the second round at Penn State way back in year 1. But he's been on a normal dev. That hopefully will propel him up to a star, which is huge for the secondary to pair that with Terry and Arnold. And it's only year 1, but we have Monty McNeil coming in number 9 on MVP voting. Wow. Doesn't win offensive. I mean, he's already on a superstar dev, but the fuck? What did Atlanta's QB do? Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. No, that's better. Oh, we get lineman of the year. Going to Tate Ratledge. That could very well be a superstar dev when all is said and done. And McNeil, as a rookie, breaks the Detroit Lions passing yard and passing touchdown records. Then take a little peek at Jared Goff. 30 touchdowns, 10 picks. Pretty much in line with what we had. Okay, good for him. Well, let's see if we get a little bit of a run here. It's year 4. We don't have a whole lot of time for McNeil to kind of figure it out. Get a little leeway this year because we do have a lot of salary cap. I think we can be aggressive in free agency and improve upon our 91 squad. But here are the playoffs on the road against the 12-5 Rams with a top 10 passing offense. Rest of it, not, kind of a mixed bag, but their defense, one of the best in the league. Number 2 points per game. I think we can give them hell here, man. We got a dual threat quarterback that's tricky to deal with. Might be able to get a little bit of that, like Jaden Daniels with the Commanders type performance. Cinderella championship type run. Look at that right there against one of the best defenses. March downfield, tied up at 7. Our defense doing a job. But we've been in the, feels like their red zone 3 times and 0 points. Like, we should at least have 6 more points of field goals. But we'll tie it up at 14. Everything to play for here in the 4th. Come on. Go win it. Okay, that's why we'll sim it. We're down 3, minute 43. We have a timeout. What can the young gunslinger do? 12 yards, Amon-Ra. 2nd and 10, nothing. 3rd and 10, nothing. Boom, there we go on 3rd down. Amon-Ra, yeah, keep feeding them. PBU, oh, for fuck's sakes. All right, year 5 Super Bowl bust with a year 2 quarterback. We need to be very active here in free agency. Fernando Mendoza. I mean, we did a great job by Mendoza, under a 50% completion percentage. Our defense showed up, but that's a tough ask. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Rams go win the Super Bowl this year. That's a tough ask for a rookie quarterback in his first playoff start. It was actually the Giants that went on the Super Bowl, and we belt-to-ass them in the first game of the season. For our team in closing, I thought there was an outside shot there for St. Brown to go up depth trade with the touchdowns. But, I mean, offensively, we're going to have J-Mo, St. Brown, Thornton, Gibbs, quarterback. You know, probably could go center. BPA at center. Look at that. I mean, the O-line is figuring it out. Defensively, we're going to be losing McNeil. But look, we have Dillon. This guy was a UDFA. We need to find this guy in the undraftable. Superstar dev, UDFA. Yeah, nose tackle cheese, whatever. Awesome. I was just about to say, coming to this, we're letting Lee McNeil walk. Probably need to spend our money here because we have to. Year 5, we've had to find a way to get better. We have, there we go, instant replacement. Did lose the X factor on Campbell, but I mean, boys, like we get the X factor on Kirby Joseph. That's pretty cool. We get the dev trade on Harris for 6 picks. We need like a corner. We need, maybe we could find a better linebacker than Rodriguez, and or bring in a safety so we can kind of move Brian Branch full time to that sub linebacker role. But I mean, there's not a whole lot we can do here to really improve this squad going into year 5. So for us, I mean, if there was a big upgrade at wide receiver over at Tisla, I would be aggressive, but you know, Scary Terry's not quite that. Offensive line BPA, nothing at tackle, nothing at guard. Really, that's actually kind of disappointing. I think I would have splurged on a lineman. Defensively, of course, like a Lee McNeil. Literally, 2 of our players, Tisla and McNeil, are the best available. We do have Brian Burns as pass rush. We don't need another pass rusher. Fuck, man, that is brutal. Truly a disgusting free agency. I think maybe we go Dax Hill. I know he's played some safety. He's a Michigan kid. See if we can bring him back. And, of course, we don't. Man, fucking terrible. We might have to make a trade or something. I don't know. You know what? I was going to say, do we trade for a safety? You know, you look a little bit at Rainsaw, 82. He could play one of those safety roles. I think that's good business. So going into the draft, center and corner would probably be the 2 positions. It's very light. The good news is that the top end, Paxton, the top center, is a top 5 talent. And this might be like the least first-round corners I can remember in a very long time. But much like the center, the top DB is a top 5 talent. So McKinney and Paxton, let's see where they're going in the mock draft. And for mock draft 5, we have, again, McKinney is going, oh, fuck, of course, 11. Paxton is 24. I wonder if we could stay at 23, draft Paxton there, and at the risk of, like, at some point we have to come back to this rebuild if we don't win a Super Bowl, right? To go in that list, we have a couple other teams we have to revisit. But at the risk of that, trading future picks to get pick 10 so we can get both McKinney and Paxton. I kind of want to do that. 2 top 5 talents at our 2 positions in need. What better role? So I was able to find a way to trade to 10 to try and complete the perfect first round for us. Now, there is also a chance, because we are now kind of screwing up the ecosystem of that mock draft 5, that this trade up could cost us that center. But it cost us, we are able to keep our first round this year. We had 2 seconds this year, so we threw in a second this year. We still have our own second. First next year. 4th this year, and then a 2 and 3 2 years down the line. So there will be a chance that in year 5 we do not win a Super Bowl. I revisit this rebuild on our way back through, and then I'm going to be like, what the fuck was I doing with this trade? Just handicapping the next couple drafts. But if this corner ends up being good, we're not going to be complaining too bad. So come on down, Micah McKinney out of Ohio State. Maybe a little shorter than what you would like at 5'10", but 5'10", 203, A-man, B-press, B-zone, C-catching, 4.29. I mean, this is a guy that you, if you need a corner, are willing to trade up for every single time. And I think with that, there you go, right there. Number 1 in true value at pick number 10. We get the depth trait, and really outside of that 87 jumping at 5'10", everything else looks exceptional here. I'm not going to be able to trade up again, so I'm just going to trust the board. And it looks good. Pick 23, Detroit. We are able to clear the board. 2 top 5 talent at our 2 positions of need. Eli Paxton at a Tennessee, A, awareness, A, pass block, B, run block. First 37 reps. That is very good for a center. Perfect. Like, he might be in the 80s, to be honest with you. No, probably not. Number 4 in true value. But 2 top 5 players, and neither one was the number 5 player. Let's freaking go, man. 2 day 1 starters, 2 game changers, 2 impact playmakers for us to go win a Super Bowl in year 5. All right, the only other position I think I need a linebacker. And I'm looking at who's available. And I'm not one to, I mean, we already have safety. I think we're going to have a lot of Brian Branch playing that role. But look at this. Khalil Binns, 225, 10, 225 at a Penn State. 449. Bench press. I mean, all that stuff looks pretty dang good. 691, 427. Or we still have this guy, Gio Wright at a USC. Don't love the letter grade. Similar size. Almost 4.3 speed. I think we just go right to the linebacker. Come on. Come on. Oh, no. We got a depth trait. We'll take that. So then you look at a draft recap. Number 1 player in the class, Micah McKinney at pick 10. 80 dev trait. Number 4, Eli Paxton. 74 dev trait. Right, 70 with a dev trait. My last pick was Johnny Thomas at a Lehigh. Pretty sure that's what, in Philly? Pennsylvania? 70 normal, and then I just kind of let the auto sim pick it out. And shout out the auto sim, the 7th round, we get a dev trait linebacker here from Alabama, Clay Martin. Excellent. Thank you very much. Looking at the rest of the class, knowing that we got the number 1 player. Whoa. 79 running back in the 7th round. Please don't be like something, because we could have used it. I would say that might have been the next thing, is just getting a David Montgomery replacement. Fuck, what? 7th round? Another player that, like, please, generate in our undraftable series, please. There we go, year 5, Super Bowl or bust. For today's episode, we can always, return. But I think, I feel good. I feel in a good spot. Now, we don't have a lot of playoff success. We got 3 wins in 4 years, which is not brutal, not the worst spot we've been. We've gone on miraculous runs. But there's certainly an element of pretty damn good regular season performances. And then when we get the playoffs, it's not so hot. But, I mean, offensively, from a skill position standpoint, Dante Thornton, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mr. Williams, Mr. Green, and Jahmyr Gibbs. There's not really a skill position set, at least in the NFC, that I think is better. Looking at our offensive line, we both have Sewell and Ratledge as superstar. We get one of the best rookies in the class at center, kind of anchoring that a little bit. Right-hand side is solid, but overall, I like that, we definitely have a top 10 offensive line. And at quarterback, just keep on keeping on here. You're going to be, I'd like to think, another big-time year. Maybe flirting with a 90 overall at the end of this season come playoff time. So let's hope that the second-year wonder from the Rainbow Warriors, Monty McNeil, can continue to develop. But it is crazy to me that he was a 71... he probably would have been like a 69 strong arm archetype. I got him up to an 86, Every single upgrade point has gone into strong arm. We have not got any throw power. Yep, that's brutal. Absolutely brutal. But overall, optimism very high. The offense that's been playing at an elite level the last 3 years will continue. Defensively, we know we got special players. Hutchinson and Parker have played as such. Campbell, Wright. We have Brian Branch. It's pretty much going to be Campbell and Branch as our linebackers. We're going to have Ransaw play at that safety spot with Kirby Joseph, a 93 X Factor. Arnold Harris has developed nicely. We get the #1 player in the class at corner, a defensive line that is terrific against the run. Got that superstar nose tackle projected UDFA from a year ago. We've absolutely crushed this process. We've navigated the Jared Goff situation, and we've come out ahead. But it's all going to be for naught if we can't find a way to go on a run, live up, and play to our potential, and win a Super Bowl here in year 5. So we're at midseason. Perfect. 7-0. Let's actually keep it for one more game. This is a big one. Beat Green Bay 4-2. I'm not saying that we secured the division. Fuck. All right. Well, okay, there's our first bonus. That's fine. From a dev trade standpoint, had a great rookie class on paper. The is Paxton star dev. I mean, he's a lineman. It's kind of rare to get a good dev trait there. The bummer is our corner, Mr. McKinney, making that big trade up. Now, the rating is good, but you know me. I'd much rather, if I'm making a big aggressive trade up, I want the ceiling. And a star dev trait, especially if we have to come back and revisit this rebuild, you know, it's not a bad return on investment, but I think that's all I can say about it. It wasn't a bad one. It wasn't an absolute home run. The good news is Gio Wright, the fast linebacker that we drafted at USC, has a superstar dev trait. So that's kind of sick. It's not all bad from a dev trait standpoint from that last class. But I don't like other rebuilds where we cash in. We already have our Super Bowl. We got to talk about contract extensions in case we come back for a part 2. And taking a look at our salary cap situation, we have over $100 million. We have Sewell, who I pretty much got to back up the Brinks check. I don't even know if he'll take 192. I hope he does. He does. That is best tackle in probably Madden. I think TJ Parker also needs a contract extension. We'll get him on a 4-year, 133. We have Jack Campbell, AJ Harris, J-Mo. Okay, we got some, what's our salary cap situation at now? 40. I think the fact of the matter is we haven't got any production out of Kirby Joseph. Now, he's probably played a big part in our defensive rankings being pretty good. But, you know, it's not been the 4.49 picks that he was getting IRL, you know? It hasn't been bad. He's had 3 picks this year. He is a year younger than Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell does want to stay, but we did just draft a superstar linebacker. But Jack Campbell's also been, like, so good. But that's the hardest thing is and he also has 3 picks this year. He only wants, okay, let's go Jack Campbell. Got Harris. I feel like McKinney can replace Harris. We can't. I think we'll wait and see with Joseph. That'd be like the kickoff part 2. Make some moves to maybe keep him on the roster if we have to for another video. So at the end of year number 5, starting 7-1, 7-0, 7 to go, 11-6 is, I was thinking 13, 14 wins. 11-6 is not great. We still finished number 2 offense. Great run defense overall, not great. Pass offense, you know, as good as it's been. You know, wish it was better. We do finish with our 3rd NFC North title of the video. 3 in 5 years is pretty good. Take a look at our stats. Monty Mitchell, yeah, top 10 quarterback. Nothing crazy. I mean, I think it does probably come down to scheme, all things considered. But we made the right move, I think, getting off of Jared Goff when we did. Gibbs was solid. 2,000-yard receivers. That hasn't always been consistent. Shout out J-Mo and Amon-Ra. Defensively, Jack Campbell. Great. TJ Parker, great. That is not good for Maiden Hutchinson out of nowhere, just to have your sack total cut in half for no reason. Don't love seeing that out of my X-Factor pass rusher. This might be actually the best INT numbers we've had at any point in this rebuild. Sewell getting lineman of the year was our only award winner. Not great. Not great vibes in year 5 to only have that. Guys, let's get it out of the way in case we lose and I get mad. Let's take a look at our player stats, what they've been able to accomplish in this rebuild to this point. 8,000 yards for McNeil, 67 touchdowns to 16 picks in 2 years, off to a terrific start in his NFL career. Jahmyr Gibbs in 7 seasons, 9,800 yards, 95 touchdowns, certainly on a Hall of Fame pace. Amon-Ra St. Brown just got over 10,000 yards receiving, 83 touchdowns, 6,300 yards, 40 touchdowns for Jameson Williams. Good production for Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield as well. Green's been solid, but further proof in the first situation whether or not to pay Sam Laporta. This Detroit Lions offense, even though Dan Campbell's a tight end by trade, does not really feature tight ends. Like, I don't think, if and when, I always feel like we're going to lose. We return, I don't think you ever pay a tight end in a Detroit Lions rebuild if you stay with the Lions playbook. Jack Campbell was awesome throughout this rebuild. A lot of tackles, 17 TFLs, 28 TFLs. 17 sacks and 8 picks. We got 97 sacks on 102 TFLs for Aiden Hutchinson, TJ Parker. That was a great pick, man, pairing these two for really every year except of this year. They have been a terrifying duo and a big reason why our defense is where it's at. Tyleik Williams has been solid as well. We got 26 picks. Kirby Joseph, 12 from Brian Branch. 8 picks, A.J. Harris. That was mostly the 6 picks he had 2 years ago. So our first matchup here in the wildcard round, we get the 9-8 Saints, who have a top 10 offense, top 10 passing offense, everything else kind of middle of the mall. The worst pass defense in the NFL. Let's see if we can take advantage of that. Because we can't take, it's been a minute since we've taken an L on a realistic rebuild, so I suppose we are due. But this would certainly be one of those ones where, this would be the worst type of rebuild to have to try to come back and fix. Because I don't know really what the problem is. We thought it was Jared Goff. We did get better quarterback play. But, the scheme's been good. A lot of time, I remember, some of the Jets rebuild, right? I always come back to that one because that one was maybe the most frustrating one that we've done because our team was a goddamn super team and it never mattered. But this is not, Detroit's curse because their offense sucks, their scheme sucks. Defense and offense, for the most part, we've been in the green for, all of those categories. So, luckily, maybe we can go on a run here, man. Just get hot at the right time. We belt the ass of the Saints at home. I want to see a big-time performance here. This Monty McNeil, we did get that 4-touchdown performance out of Jared Goff. Kind of put the team on his back. And in this one, wow, Jalen Hurts. An outstanding job by the defense. Give them the game ball. Quarterback play was, as is. Rush game was pretty good. St. Brown, 90 yards. Defensively, 3 picks. Harris, McKinney, love seeing that from the rookie, as well as Jack Campbell. All right, defense keep playing like that. We can ride them to a title. Ooh, history repeating itself a little bit. Way back in year 2, we took on the Giants in the divisional round at Ford Field and got the win to send us to the NFC Championship game. This time, we are at MetLife. We have the better roster. We have held up our end of this agreement. I've rebuilt the Detroit Lions into a super team. However, the New York Giants are actually playing like a super team. Look at all that green. Every single category, they are top 10 in the NFL. We are on the road. Yeah, oh boy. I don't know what they did to the Giants, man. They literally must have, updated their schemes to be incredible because, for the first month of NFL, any rebuilds, the Giants weren't good. They were kind of a non-factor for the most part. When they updated the stadiums, they must have just said, hey, let's make the Giants really good. Well, great start for Detroit here. Really good start. I don't love the fact we've had to, settle for 2 field goals there. 1 touchdown, we feel a lot better. 3 straight field goals for the Lions. But there we go. There's a huge touchdown. Ooh, even more points. Let's go. Where is this coming from? Just kind of 2 belt ass, to be honest with you. And that is an outstanding New York Giants team. 31-13, the Lions win. A little bit surprised. I thought, maybe, I'd like to think, I thought we'd win that game, but maybe not that unconvincing. Thought we might have a little clenched butthole time. Defense shows up again. Monty McNeil with a standout playoff performance, over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Shout out Trey'Dez Green. Sometimes the tight end does contribute here. Amon-Ra with a touchdown. Defensively, 2.5 sacks for Aiden Hutchinson. 1.5 from Brandon Dillon. Jack Campbell, 2 straight games with interceptions. And the Detroit Lions are back in our 3rd NFC Championship game. Looking for our first win, however. And we get the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, it's been a minute since I've seen Atlanta go on a run, but they are the 1 seed. Beat the Niners. Close game, for sure. But I like our chances this one. How'd they get here? They put a good run offense. I mean, a lot of green as well. Top 5 offense. Not so much the run game. And we know they can get it going. They have 99 overall. Bijan Robinson. This could be a battle. 2 of the best running backs in the league. But they have a top 5 defense. Not gonna lie, that team kind of looks a little bit better than the Falcons team that we just rebuilt not too long ago. Now, I'm not saying we're gonna cash in and play a snap here or two. I'd like to at least make a Super Bowl. But, I mean, we'll see how this game goes. We'll see. I've been able to trust our team. Find a way. Well, I feel like right here. Maybe let's come in and get him a first down. 3rd and 3. Like, we're in field goal range, sure. If we end up settling for a field goal, not the end of the world. Why not want a little bit more? Like, why not go to Trey Green when an alternate universe was on this Falcons team and was a beast with Kyle Pitts and Drake London? Why not get him involved a little bit and get a touchdown? And go into halftime with a little bit of a lead. Let's go. 2 straight scores. All momentum with Detroit. All I did was give him a first down, so I'm not putting an asterisk whatsoever on this performance. I got 0 of those 28 points. We've had multiple defensive turnovers. Defense wins championships in Madden 26. And the Detroit Lions defense is going to give us a chance at a championship here in year 5. And it's a beat again. Kind of a belt-to-ass performance. 3 straight on our warpath to a Super Bowl. 4 touchdowns from Monty McNeil, the sophomore quarterback. And that's Vernon Wilson. That was the quarterback that beat McNeil for Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. So 2 of the best in the NFL. Theirs falls. Ours rises to the occasion. 247, 78% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Run game kind of non-existent, which I don't love. Amon-Ra goes nuclear in this performance. We got defense wins championships. A hat trick for Tyleik Williams. 2 sacks, TJ Parker. Sack for Hutchinson. The pick, that's his 2nd interception in these playoffs for the first-round pick that we traded up for. I don't know. I mean, I saw the Ravens on the other side. Ravens, the 1 seed from the AFC. They could be tricky. I don't know if they're stopping this. I don't think Lamar has a good day. I'm actually just about to correct myself. We might not even play the Ravens. The Ravens do handle business as the 1 seed. Not even really close against the Houston Texans. Okay. 12-5. Number 2 rushing team. Number 2 defense. Number 1 rush defense. But we just saw in that last one, our run game was a non-factor against the Falcons. And we're able to find a way to win. I'm not really worried. Not overly concerned. Always curious at how Lamar plays. Because sometimes I've seen Lamar put up good passing numbers. Other times it's fairly pedestrian like this. 19 touchdowns to 4 picks. Protects the football. His run game, he's getting up there in age a little bit. So like that is not really a feared rushing attack. Casey Conception, he's a beast. They got Harold Fannin. I mean, that's just not really, the defense is where they're good. This is where we need to be concerned. They got Roquan Smith. Madubuike, 15 sacks, 13.5 from Nick Herbig, 11 from Mike Green. Trenton Simpson's kind of that hybrid do-it-all. Their interception numbers are, they probably have a talented secondary. I'm going to guess they're probably like us. Really good secondary, maybe not the best at getting turnovers. It's going to be a good game. But, I mean, you don't got to look much further than this tail of the tape. Look at the 2 teams from a talent perspective. Come on. This is going to be a brutal L if we can't get this win. What it's worth, I don't think, this is huge for the Ravens. I haven't seen the Ravens win the Super Bowl yet in this rebuild. So this is them finally, with old Lamar, having a chance at a Super Bowl. Roquan Smith as well, some of the veterans there. 2 great dual-threat quarterbacks. But in every other category, they don't have better talent than us. I don't think they have more. They're more talented in any area. Maybe, I'd say maybe secondary, but I don't know, man. We got Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph that are kind of swinging things, I think, in our favor if you're kind of, putting a weight class on whose secondary is the best. We got the heavyweights. They got middleweights. But this has been a very low-scoring game. 7-7. Everything to play for in the second half. Ooh. How are these long drives not yielding any points? All right, we'll go, Wait, how do I... Isn't slow sim watching it? Maybe not. We'll go normal here. Play by play. Okay. 2nd and 10. We go. Incomplete. 3rd and 10. Come on. Yes! Amon-Ra St. Brown, 10-yard touchdown pass. And a Detroit Lions lead with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go. But with Lamar Jackson getting the football, who knows what the hell can happen. First play, incomplete. 2nd play. There you go. There's your big play. That probably will take us to the 2-minute warning. Psych. TJ Parker gets a sack, taking us to the 2-minute warning. Just protect the sticks, man. Another one. Oh, no, sorry. That's the same play. 2nd and 17. Another one. The superstar UDFA turned into a Super Bowl sack specialist. Brandon Dillon, back-to-back. Lamar can't beat the fraudulent big game allegations. And this Super Bowl is going to come down to a 4th and 21. Wow. Try to get like a screen pass. That feels good though, man. There's some rebuilds that I accept defeat, and I have a plan in my head about how, like the Jets rebuild. Again, we always reference that one because if you remember, that was a frustrating one. We know. We just got to completely overhaul the scheme. That'll be pretty fun. This one, if we didn't get a Super Bowl win, I have no idea what I could fix. We got rid of Jared Goff. We brought in a dual threat, polar opposite stylistic quarterback. Obviously, it's yielded great results. But, you know, it would be, honestly, if we came back with this one, it'd just be like, hopefully we can win. Because it's just, there's nothing else you can do. We've hit endgame with the Detroit Lions. And I'm happy that we have been rewarded. Dan Campbell, Mr. Bite Kneecaps himself, has been rewarded with a Super Bowl. As a Eagles fan, from a neutral standpoint, my second favorite, well, I hate our coach. So my favorite coach in the league is Dan Campbell. I think there's some refining that needs to go on for him to take his coaching to the next level. I think at times he should stop being a meme. What a terrible game for both quarterbacks here, by the way. But I think if Dan Campbell just reined it in a little bit, I think as a player, someone that played high school football for 1 year, grade 12, only year my school had a football team, first year in school history, that played football, diehard football, okay? I know football. I'd love to play for Dan Campbell, probably out of any coach in the NFL. But for Monty McNeil, not great, but he won. Amon-Ra, because he did that game-winning he's probably Super Bowl MVP. Defensively, 8 touchdowns with 2 sacks. That could also play potentially as a Super Bowl MVP. We got the 2 picks there. Shout out Gio Wright, the superstar rookie. Love seeing that. I'm gonna give it to Amon-Ra. So there you go, fellas. That is a successful Madden 26 realistic rebuild of the Detroit Lions. Took a little bit to get this video. It was inspired by the Lions' unfortunate defeat a week ago almost on Thanksgiving. But at the end of the day, all happy endings. This team, very good, and will go down as Super Bowl champions. Tomorrow, don't worry, my slight apologies on the inconsistencies for Raiders franchise, for the undraftables. Just more so, Raiders franchise is going to be kind of like a 1 video a week thing anyway, so I still got time to get that. I plan to get one out at the end of the week. But for the undraftables, things get kind of mixed up, busy weekend, and I don't want... We're going to be doing an off-season stream for the undraftables this week, most likely, almost guaranteed locking in for Friday. So I'm thinking undraftables episode, what would it be, 4 will be out tomorrow. We'll finish the regular season tomorrow, so that we'll have plenty of time to kick off a very fun live stream off-season where we have to try and make this team so much better with only undraftable UDFA quality players. I think it's going to be a very fun challenge stream. Don't miss out on that one. Stay posted on Papa XC4 on X. That's where I'll post any updates about the stream time, but I'm thinking right now, tentatively, it's going to be on Friday evening. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. Please let me know in the comment section below what rebuild you guys want to see next. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace, I love you. Have a good one.